Hello, welcome back to Adobe Animate. We're going to try some rotoscoping today. So I've loaded up Animate. I'm going to create a new document. It's going to be full HD, 24 frames a second, under character animation. I'm going to click Create. So you can rotoscope from an H.264 file that you can import into Animate. I'm going to save this project, call it cat. Okay, because that's what I'm going to do, bring in a cat, an image sequence from Muybridge that was made in the 1800s. What I recommend doing is if you have a file that you film or that you find, to first take it into your edit program and make it short. So it helps if it's not too long of a clip. Make it short. This is just a few frames long, and export that out as an H.264 file that you can then bring into Animate. So I'm going to then go File. I've already done that in my edit program. I'm going to go Import down to Import Video, and I get this window. So what I'm going to do, there's some different options here. I'm going to embed an H.264 video in the timeline, design time only. The video cannot be exported. So I won't be able to export the video. I'm just going to export what I draw on top of it, basically to make my own version of it. So I'm going to click Browse, and I'm going to find my Muybridge cat video. I'm going to click Open. I'm going to click on Next. And some options here. Place instance on stage. Yep, sounds good. Expand timeline if needed. Sounds good. Include audio. Well, it has no audio, so I'm not going to check that. So I'll go Next here. And then there's this little box for after importing video, view video topics. So if you want to get some help, you can do that, but I'm going to leave that unchecked. I'm going to click on Finish. Okay, so here it is. My video clip has opened in my project. In cats, and there is my cat here with its own timeline, the whole layer here. So first, even though it's on it's on my timeline here, I'm going to ignore this now. I'm going to go ahead and turn it into a symbol. So I'm going to go Insert, New Symbol. I'm going to call it Running Cat. It's going to be a graphic symbol. So make sure it's a graphic symbol. Going to go OK. And there it is. And then I'm going to just drag the video clip right into there. Okay, so it requires 13 frames to display its entire length. Should we do that? Yes. Okay, so we have 13 frames, just like what I have down here. But now if I go back to my scene and I delete this, what I want to do is be able to have my running cat loop over and over again and last maybe 5 seconds. So I'm going to go up to 5 seconds. Hit F5 or right click and go insert frame to expand it. And so then when I put my running cat symbol in there, the running cat is basically just going to loop and repeat, which is kind of what I want. And you'll be able to see that with the video clip, that it keeps on going, even though there's just about a 13 frame bit of it. So in the symbol itself is just 13 frames. So that's not too much for me to draw. I'm going to zoom out the Control minus a couple times so I can see the whole cat. Now, if I just look at this video, that's a pretty cool video of the running cat, and it's I think it's going to work if I go to the end and then come back to the beginning, like it cycles. Now, some things that I notice about it is that the head hardly ever changes. The head changes position, but it doesn't really change shape. So if I draw the head once, turn that into a symbol, and then just reposition it, I think I'm going to be good. The whole body, though, moves a lot, so I'm going to have to redraw the body several times to make it run convincingly. So what I'm going to do is layer 1 is my reference. I'm just going to call it the reference layer, and I'll be basically deleting that later on. I'm going to add a second layer here. I'm going to call that the head. So what I'm going to do is just draw the cat head on that layer. Now, because this image is kind of dark, I'm going to actually draw with the pencil tool. I'm going to set the stroke color to white to make it pretty clear. Maybe I'll even set the stroke color to red so it's really obvious where it is. So I'm going to use the pencil tool, and then I'm going to zoom in on the head a little bit. So I'm just going Control or Command plus. I'm going to use the H for the hand tool to move over so I can see just the head. Maybe I have to go minus a little bit. And now I'm just going to draw with my pencil tool. Gonna kind of just draw around the head. Just generally get the head shape. And I'm going to connect it, going to have my beginning go to my end there on the head. And so hopefully it all connects. I'm going to choose the color of my cat. I'm going to have kind of an orange color for my cat like this. So it's going to be like a running house cat. Going to use the paint bucket tool to get that fill color selected. And then maybe while I'm at it, I'll go back to my stroke color. Going to double click on the stroke. Going to change it to black for now, and that's going to be my cat head. So I'm going to do with that head right off is I'm going to turn it into a symbol. Going to go modify, convert to symbol, cat head, and then I can do some tweening on it if I want to. So I'm going to go a few frames. Now it's way down here, so I'm going to put in a keyframe, move it down here. I'm going to go a little bit further, maybe a couple more frames. It's over here. I'm going to move it back here. Notice it's also rotated, so I'm going to use my free transform tool to kind of rotate it around a little bit. I'm going to go a few more frames, still kind of in the same spot here. It's different. I'm going to move it over here. Maybe I have to rotate it a little bit. So trying to match that movement a little bit. Here it's maybe back down. And then maybe up to the end where it's up here, and just move it up here. And now I can go ahead and I'm just going to the space between the keyframes. I'm right-clicking and just putting in a classic tween, and I think with that I'll have some animation of the head that roughly follows the drawing, or follows that original video. Okay, so now I'm going to add another layer. We're going to call it the body. And I'm going to, once again, make my stroke color red, just so I can really see where it is with the whole body. Maybe I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to use the H hand tool to zoom over to see the body. Start with this first frame, pencil tool, and now I'm going to, once again want to create an object that where my first point connects with my last point. So I'm just going to make sure it overlaps with the head. And I'm just going to kind of quickly do this. It's going to be going really fast, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, this is just 13 frames of this bit of animation. And then I'm going to see if I can not do it every frame. Maybe I'll go this far, go F7, and then redraw. Okay, so what I've been doing is going 2 frames, making a blank keyframe, and then redrawing it. So I'm not getting every bit of the cat's action, but just every other frame's worth, and hoping that it's going so fast it'll kind of fool the eye mostly of the audience. So as much as possible, trying to link those red lines. So I'm going to turn off the eyeball of that video reference frame so I can see these frames. And I'm going to click on the first body one here. I'm going to go ahead and change all these to black. So I'm just going to click on the frame. I got my stroke color black here. So I'm going to just choose that for all of these. And get that black too. So clicking on all of them and just, so notice that that's why you don't want too long of a clip to do rotoscoping, because it might take a while to do some of this kind of stuff. So black there, hit the last one, black as well. And then I have my fill color. I'm just going to use the paint bucket tool to fill in my color. Now if it's not filling like there, I'm going to go here and kind of close some of these gaps and see if I can, if I got close enough to fill it in on all of these. So these are, I'm going to use the selection tool here, just click outside, try to connect these points. Maybe I'm going to click on this part, go delete, click in here just to delete that, leave a negative space there. And you're going to go back to the paint bucket tool. So notice the keyboard equivalent for that is a K, so you can just go back to your because I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to move these pieces a little bit closer. Okay, and now K for my paint bucket. Fill that in. Yep, that works. Fill that in. So sometimes there's, with the pencil tool, there's some little line work you need to fix. And I'm going to go back to I'm going to put this body layer underneath the heads layer. I always tried to connect them. I'm going to go to my cat head layer, and I'm going to see if I can just delete the line on this side. I want to get the whole thing, so maybe I'm just going to use the eraser tool just to erase a little bit and go over here and get it much small size of my eraser just to get a little bit of that out. I'm going to click on the line here to delete that. I'm deleting that line so on my running cat the head blends in better with the rest of the cat body. Okay, so still I could do some adjustment. I'm just going to add a frame. I'm going to use F5 to add a frame to all these layers. And now the reference layer, once you're all done with it, you can just delete it. And I'm going to go back to my scene. I'm going to fit it in the window. And let me see how this cat looks looping. You can see I can do a little work with the head to match it with the body. But there's that movement with the head kind of tweened. And I got some rotoscoping. So I make a background, do whatever, do some tweaking, and I got a little rotoscope movie. So thanks for joining me on this video about rotoscoping with Adobe Animate.